All right. I'm gonna keep playing with this while we get things worked out. But how's everybody? How's everybody doing? Andrew, you doing good?
Yeah,
Who else is up
yeah,
here?
yeah, doing all right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can't complain, man.
Good,
It's
man.
like we said, been a while, but good to be back. Good to
Yep.
be chatting, getting caught up. I know I had to do a decent amount of due diligence before getting on here to make sure I can speak eloquently and with at least a little bit of education behind my comments. But
Yep, you got it. We got a pending update. I don't know if anybody's. I'm sure everybody's watching Twitter to see if anything's been posted. I haven't really looked to see if anything's happened or what's getting posted. But I know it kind of coincided with, this starting is when their maintenance was supposed to be done. So,
I've
just to interrupt, Mr.
I've been in the app. There's no change.
Well, I'm looking at it.
no
I'm
change.
looking
Okay.
at now, and it looks like William just updated. He said Telfam app maintenance is complete. Thanks for your patience, Telfam.
Yeah, I can't see any change in the app at all. Sorry, hi, it's Brad. I'm from London in the UK.
Yeah,
I've been waiting up to see the changes, and unfortunately, I can't see any. But there we
No,
are.
it's all right.
I'm gonna try to log into the app too and see if that does anything. But
Okay. Um, God bless it. We got quite a sheet of notes here to even cover. Um, Let me see where we start. So I do want to give some shout outs really quick right off the bat to two of our community members having their first children. Um, it's the Driven. He had his boy, I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago now. His son Atlas was born, and then OG Cody Kuhn with his son Levi being born this week. So big shout outs to those guys. Amazing, you know, repopulating the Telfam, right? So it's
let's go.
yeah, let's go. So
It did. I did have to re-register again. So I'm just trying to access my wallet now.
okay.
Um, just loading up, loading up.
Yeah, I mean, I went all the way through the wallet, through the apps, through the menu down the side. I couldn't. I mean, look, I'm hi everybody. Good afternoon. I guess it is where you are. It's nearly 1:30 in the morning here in the UK. I was primarily waiting up just to watch to see if the EU ramps were going to launch because I was quite excited
Uh,
about that. But yeah, it doesn't seem to have happened.
Yeah, it looks like
okay.
maybe just some bug updates and whatnot. I know Ari had mentioned something along the lines of an update with 1 inch. Um,
Okay.
Not exactly sure what that entails. If they're just, I think they did an update recently, and maybe it was just updating maybe some of the code to coincide with
Mm.
that to help for faster and I think some cheaper swaps within the app. But
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, I hyped it a little bit today. I had no idea what was going to happen. I didn't know if it was going to be a bug update or, just cleaning up some code or whatnot. Everybody gets super excited about releases, and that was one of our first topics that I had on the notes here. It's just there seems to be a lot of frustration recently in the community with the lack of communication from the team and I gotta admit, I mean, this has been a long drought without any kind of update from the team. You agree, Andrew?
yeah, I don't know. I think everybody was kind of expecting like a quarterly update. At the end of Q3, and then that didn't come. I think people were expecting at least an end of year update again, which never came.
Yeah.
And then we had all these expectations of the EU opening up end of year, and then we saw that job description that stated that it would be opening up in January, and that didn't come. Um, so yeah, I can see people's frustration, especially when you look at typical traditional crypto where they have a posted roadmap. They're a little bit more in tune with the communication. Like I
Yeah.
know Telcoin's tweeting a lot, but I don't know if it's necessarily engagement. Like yes, they're getting out there. I'm not on Discord as much as I am everywhere else, but
Yeah.
I try to pop in every now and then, but it really looks like it's more customer service that's really engaging with the community as opposed to kind of the leadership team. I know Paul had been in Discord, and he mentioned he was going to start popping in a little bit more often, and I think that was to me the only time that I've seen him in there, kind of going back and forth with a few people. I think Ari being one of them with a few questions. Um, and then they had asked about adding new tokens and what did the community want, and I know some people put out some suggestions. I did some polls through the Telex community channel, and then let's say 4 to 6 weeks later we did get those 4 new assets that came
Hmm.
in. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough, because I would say like they probably have to keep stuff close to their chest. Could they do a better job at giving out little tidbits and say, hey, yeah, we're still working on it, and here's a little update, or there's a delay in this because of this. We're obviously
Yeah.
not behind those closed door meetings. We don't know what's entailed. Um, if there's NDAs involved, this, that, whatever, what can they say? What can't they say? If they do say something, does it go against securities law because it, pushes the token price up and stuff like that? Like, there's obviously a lot of things involved, and I think Telcoin's MO has always been caution first, compliance
Yeah.
first. So I would say like for them, like they're probably not going to release stuff until it is, battle tested and it's like 110%, not when it's, 95% of the way there or 85% of the way there. Right. So
Yeah, I just and I know we've talked about this before in previous spaces and just chatting through Twitter or whatever uh, platform it is we're using, and just a community manager just for simple communication, right? I just and it's only because the folks that are vocal in the community, Andrew, you, me, and a few others. Obviously, you and I engage with the community quite a bit in different aspects, and then we kind of catch a bit of the brunt of it, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I'll try to explain away what I can, but I can understand, like, it just seems that there's more frustration now than I can remember. It maybe not, and back up to 2020, when everything was just shit. But right now, everything seems to be progressing. We've had some green days in the market, and people just want, they don't owe us anything. We don't own any part of the company, and we've said this 1,000 times, if not a million. Right? We're risk takers. We bought their token. We're not stockholders. We're not anything other than that. Right? So uh, we've chosen to put our risk into Telecoin as the company, with no ownership, so nothing owed. However, I just think, from a high risk, high volatility asset, a little more community engagement would certainly help.
yeah,
And
totally.
I'd love to get it, and I'd love to get others' takes on that as well. I mean, I'm probably not as critical as some are about it, but it is reality, right? Perception is reality. If their perception is that, you know, just not getting the updates, and that scares them away from even a risky asset. I mean, because the asset itself is risky in the first place, and then with no updates, it seems that it may be even riskier. Those that are, like us, that are neck deep in it, and kind of live and breathe it every day, and kind of keep up to date with everything else. It's a little more tolerable. However, for those outliers that aren't, in as deep as some of the community members, that kind of, are in it every day. I can understand where the frustration lies, and and to be honest, if I wasn't so far into, the research and education and everything that goes along with Telcoin, I might feel differently. So, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I don't, like I'm still like obviously like you said we're both in it pretty heavily. Like I obviously am doing the updates on a daily basis. So like I'm, checking out what's going on with the price, what's going on in, Telegram and on Twitter on like literally, multiple times a day. Um, but to the same point, like we're still part of the community, and at times, do I get frustrated with the lack of communication? For sure, right? I'm just
Sure.
looking at like the Medium articles, and like in 2021, at the end of the year, we did get a community update, like a kind of end of year one. We got another update in February, and then the generalized incentives that came out in May. We got another update in July, and then the last thing we got since then was the update with the stake and refer. But like no updates outside of obviously that stake and refer. But
Well, and that's a good point, right? I mean, you just went down a list of 5 or 6 touch points that they've offered the community, right? And sometimes it's overlooked because maybe the community members that have the frustration they don't use the Instack or in-app staking, or they don't use Telex platform, or whatever that update was doesn't really impact what they expected to be, and some of that is just the naivety of being in crypto and thinking things are going to moon overnight. I get that, right? There's always those outliers that are always just concerned with their own bags and their own price, and that's fine too. I mean, if that's the game for you, that's more power to you, right? And it's just maybe those updates, just that full-fledged like year-end type update that we all got and really appreciated is more of a, hey, can we scale that down to a quarterly update, and only maybe it's a few bullet points. I don't know. I just
yeah,
I don't
if you
know.
can get into a more
Yeah.
regular cadence too, then everybody kind of understands. And again, like you don't have to drop bombshell news or anything, but just a status update. What's going on?
Correct.
What's, if there are delays, what can you share? Give us an update here and
Yeah.
there. And like even for me, like as I think about it, because I'm probably pretty well, not probably, but I am pretty heavily involved in DFX too. And obviously, with the
Hmm.
vulnerability that they had, like, does that play into any potential releases as well, right? Like, obviously, the stable
Right. Yeah.
coins that they offer is part of the Telcoin SMS network, which is, their greater remittance, product. So, was there, some delays because of that? And obviously, we know DFX is probably coming out, hopefully by the end of the week, with the pools coming open. Who's to say that, maybe Telcoin was waiting on that to get back open so that, they have both, SMS, Tel Exchange, and all of that Telex liquidity engine network up and ready to go before they
Yeah.
launch EU or before they open up anything else, right? So
Yeah.
it's tough to say. Like there's so many things going on. The telecoms, the MNOs, the different protocol partners, internal stuff you got to deal with, external market factors, and you're trying to manage all that stuff at once. Or at the same time while managing the community's expectations and stuff like that too. So I think overall, could they be better at communication? Yes. They've mentioned that too, and they said that they were
Hmm.
going to get better. If I'm being honest, I don't know if I've seen it lately. But again, we don't know what we don't know. And I think that's
Correct. Right.
probably
Yeah.
what is frustrating everybody. It's just like, okay, guys, we understand this, that, whatever, but like, just give us an update on whatever, how things are going, how are things progressing. We're seeing some positives with the banking stuff in Nebraska. Maybe a little blurb on that. What's the latest? Now that Mike Flood's in a different position. You've got Slama that's in a different position too, and I know we'll get into those kind of comments as well with Paul reaching out to both of them on Twitter too. But yeah, I don't know. I see Liberty jumped up too. Liberty, you want to share your thoughts and comments on this as well, or?
Were you talking to me?
I was, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just talking to my daughter. Yeah, no, I think people are completely justified in their frustration. I think Telcoin is they are their biggest problem, I think, when it comes to communication, because there's been deadlines passed and just radio silence. And if they didn't give us those deadlines, we wouldn't be expecting anything. So there wouldn't be, frustration built up. So they are part to blame in that.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you. Like, they've got to take some onus on them. And like when they came out on Discord and said, like, yeah, guys, we have been, piss poor at it. We need to get better. We are going to get better. The challenge and the frustration probably got amplified after a comment like that. We still continue to see the lack of communication from the team.
Yeah, and guys, when I went off on my little rant there, I'm not blaming community members. I'm trying to be empathetic. Actually, it's I understand. We're just like I said, the folks that kind of are in it and kind of watch every move and are listening and understand the big picture. Um, they may have a little more patience because they see the long game, right? But the community members that aren't playing a long game, they're in for quick hits or just maybe they've hit their levels of you know what, enough's enough. I can't even get an update out of the team. These you see other projects. They're highly active on Discord or Telegram or on Twitter, and constantly having their own spaces, doing what we're doing on our own to engage the community and give them feedback and just make a positive stance, right? But I also know that the industry they're in comes with a lot of non-disclosures and things that they can't really talk about. Now, that's not an excuse. I'm not making an excuse for the team. I agree that they could do better, even from my perspective. And like I said, the other perspectives are that they're not doing anything. So yeah, so I just want to make sure I don't want the community to come at me where I'm taking a side or anything. I'm totally empathetic with what you're feeling. I've went through it myself way back in the day before I really understood the crypto game and then what we're searching. Like I got wrapped up in 2017, 2018, just along with everybody else, saying I'm going to get rich quick. I want to come in here in 6 months and take my 10 grand and turn it into a million, right? That was the idea. And quickly I found out that I got in at the wrong time, and that just wasn't going to happen. Now here I am, 5 or 6 years later, and picking my horses for the race. So still, but anyway, again, I just didn't want anybody to think that I'm discouraging them from making the decisions that are best for them. So
Yeah, I think it
I
goes.
concur. How you?
Sorry, I was just gonna
Oh,
say.
go
I think
ahead.
it goes back to too, like, know what you guys are investing in, and don't overdo it. Understand what your timeline is and stuff like that, and don't
Yeah,
overextend, all that kind of stuff, right? Like, just do it proportionally. Don't go all in on one token and expect, like you said, everything to happen all at once and triple your money, double your money, whatever, in a week,
yeah,
right?
There's also a lot that you can see that they don't tell you about. I mean, we just found out that they re-registered as lobbyists. We still have the LB 649 that keeps getting put. Well, I think it's LB 647 is what we're watching right now, right?
74, yeah.
74.
Yeah.
But we can still see what's going on with that and the dates and kind of have an idea of what am I gonna what's the next date for an announcement of the next interaction that they have or whatever. But there's still a lot to see in the background that you don't have to be an IT specialist like
No, I think the
Ari, but
challenge though from the community though is that, like, they don't want to do the due diligence and do the diving. They prefer that the team come out and tell them what they're working on, right, as opposed
right.
to having to sleuth and find and whatnot. But
But
I,
it is
I
out there.
No, I hear you, and I get both sides of it. But like Steve said too, right? It is what it is, and you know what? We're allowed to voice our opinions, air our grievances, and it is what it is. But like again, have I lost faith in Telcoin? No, like that, not a chance, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Am I disappointed with the communication? Yeah, of course. But is that going to make me, change my thought process and my long-term strategy on that investment? The answer is no.
I'm still more bullish.
Yeah, well, like you said, the more and more that we see come out, like the little pieces, like I think we were talking about it a while ago, Liberty, that it's getting more and more and more complex. But you know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So,
just they're setting the stage for big players, for big regulations, and yeah, I mean, this is something that a lot of people are going to hear about, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is with the community here, we say that stuff, right? And I feel like the community is like, you guys, you just, fanboys and this, that, and the other, because again, they're not in it as heavily as, you're looking at the three guys that are talking. It's me that hosts these spaces. It's Andrew that runs the Telex community, and Liberty now has the Telcoin store. So these are guys that are like in basically every day in some aspects of the project, right? Um, so I want to be sure to stay empathetic, like I said earlier, about other community members and how their take is too. So, and I saw I concur. Oh, did he
I
hop
think he
off?
just,
He
yeah.
can't. Oh, okay. I wanted to hear because I've chatted with I concur, and he's one of the frustrated folks, right? And I would love to hear if he can get back up here.
I'll invite him
And
back up, and even
okay,
the
good, yeah.
chosen one. I was talking to him a little bit before too, and he had some comments. I was hoping he can dive into it. I'm just trying to see if I can see him in here, but
Okay.
I know he said it was pretty late for him, so 1 a.m., 1:30 now. So
So I want to make sure that everybody hears me now. I just got all my technical difficulties worked out while we were chatting. Now they are worked out, even though I won't have any of that part recorded where we were bitching about Telcoin. So, but it's it's not on purpose. I
if you weren't going to
promise.
be called a fanboy before, you
I
definitely
know.
are going to be now.
I wanted to say it publicly, right? So I'll try to edit it and get back and go to and screen record the space, but I don't think my sound was working on my computer.
Oh,
So
Steve, you do it to yourself. You
I
do it
know
to yourself.
I'm setting myself up. I know. But I'm just throwing it out there now so
Oh,
everybody can hear
love
me.
it,
So.
love it, love it, love it.
Yeah. Um, but again, if and guys, if you don't want to get up here and speak, I highly encourage you to reach out to any one of us and vent. If you just want to chit chat about this, that, and the other, or hear a different opinion, right? Just feel free. I'm always open.
Yeah, that, or you can join. Like, we've got a ton of different Telegram groups too. You've got the Telex
Yeah.
pool tips that obviously is specific to Telex. You get the new Telconomics. That is kind
Yeah.
of everything content related, but we obviously go into a lot of different stuff in that. You've got the power holders. There's a tax one. Like, you want to get involved and understand and get to know a little bit more outside of Twitter. There's a lot of good conversations going on within all those kind of different groups within Telegram, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on Discord too. But I know that was a referral code dumping ground for the longest time, or a customer service support, dumping ground for the longest time. But
They
Yeah.
did create their own channel for that, so it's not.
I know. I think I log in there and I see the one person's name Baza. Like it's like 3 times a day. Like I don't know, like if there's a benefit to that, but
I probably am on that once a month.
yeah, I don't go in too often, but I try to go in every now and then just to pop in and see kind of what's going on, and I'll go through it quickly depending on what kind of things I'm reading. But
The team likes to contact each other through there when somebody does.
yeah, it's all good. Let's not beat the dead horse of communication. I think we're all in the same boat, and
Yeah, no, I agree. We'll move on, but I wanna not only host these spaces, but I also want to be a voice to the community that they're not comfortable speaking. I see the tweets, we all do, right? And we can see the frustration or the tone that's applied to these tweets. So we just want to make sure that their voices are heard, and we're all hearing them, and we just I can empathize. So we'll move on now, but yeah, I'm always open to talk, man. Just shoot. I wish I concur was back up. He is here. Let's see if he
Yeah,
wants to
I
come
asked
back up
him
and
a
speak.
couple times, but
Okay. All
we'll
right.
see
Well,
if he requests.
he,
Maybe he's got something going on and he'll pop in later.
yeah, right on. So I wanted to jump into the Dune stuff, the Dune analytics. And Andrew, I know you had a hand in that, but
Actually,
before let's
before you get
what?
into it, I did not. That was all Henry. It had
Oh,
nothing to
okay.
do with me. We got involved in the doing analytics stuff at like the very beginning for like Telex, but
Okay.
the
Right.
stake and refer stuff is all Henry.
Yeah, no, I wanted to make a couple of points here. So we heard that Telcoin is heading to Barcelona on the 27th through the March 2nd. It's another GSMA event. Yeah, Andrew, you added some notes here. FinTech leader sponsors, JP Morgan. I mean, these names continue to pop up every time we see that Telcoin is heading, sending staff to represent the company at these GSMA events, right? It's kind of the same people. So the networking has to be fantastic. I mean, I look at my own network in my own industry, and you see the same people. You start to develop friendships and business relationships and everything else. So I can assume that it's happening, at that level as well. So,
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of
um,
like telecom CEOs. I was kind of briefly going through like the keynote speakers and like the other guest speakers. Yeah, a lot of
mhm.
high end people in
Yeah,
connected companies. So like you said, great place for networking.
yep. And then we had someone post. I don't remember who it was, but we had a representative, kind of out of nowhere, French Hill. I think he's on one of the boards, and he's a Republican from Arkansas, and just from a crypto space as a whole, it it's getting its foothold in our current government. Not only based on what we see for Telcoin, right, and Slama and Flood and those guys, but even just cryptocurrencies as a whole are getting a foothold in these meetings, right? So his quote: "We want innovation for fintech and the use of blockchain to be available in the United States." So to me, I mean, that's a buy signal that the government is getting on board. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not as in tune to what's going on in the U.S. Obviously,
Oh, that's right.
being
You're
in
over in
Canada,
Canada.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I don't pay too much attention. Like I've got a couple people I'm following on Twitter, but um,
Well, what's it over in Canada? What are you seeing over there from Canadian
well,
government?
they've been a little bit more open to it, like before. Again, I'm not gonna speak too intelligently on it because I don't know enough about it. But
Gotcha.
like at least from like the U.S. side, from what I'm seeing, like it is starting to be like more positive. I started following Mr. Flood and kind of just put
Hmm.
some the notifications on all of his tweets to kind of get up to speed on kind of what he's doing and what's going on with him. But like it just seems like everybody's having more and more conversations about it. They want to understand it. How do we get it involved and get the process rolling and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
and
and
I
from
would say
a
the sentiment too is
oh,
like even more positive, like where before like people were just like, oh, what's this crypto, that's a scam, blah blah blah, this
yeah.
that whatever, right? Whereas now they're actually interested in understanding blockchain technology and what's going on with the tokens, the tokenomics and stuff like that. So that for
Yeah,
me
and
is just a positive aspect of it in itself.
I was always curious as to, in American politics, it's so divisive, right? Republicans and Democrats are at each other's throat. And as crypto progressed in the technology sphere and blockchain progressed, I was always wondering what side, progressives or where Republicans are generally, business friendly, and then Democrats are quote unquote progressive. You can argue that point or whatever. I don't want to dive into that, but I was always really interested in which side was going to really grasp crypto and really run with it, and what side was going to try to gain the most benefit from it. So it's interesting to see because it seems like the Republicans are taking charge of trying to grasp blockchain technology and move that into the next steps of whatever that is in the government. So
Yeah, and even from an outside perspective that doesn't really know a lot about U.S. politics, I would totally agree that it looks like Republicans are a little bit more open to crypto in general. So,
yep, right on. So yeah, you mentioned speaking of government, you mentioned Paul responded to Flood and Slama that he did that personally. That he doesn't tweet very often, so when he does, we kind of ears perk up and pay attention. But yeah, each one of them tweeted in some form or another in regards to some of the committees that they were on, or whatever they were doing in their current role. And Paul took the time to respond to each one of them individually, which stood out to me. So
yeah, so just to give some context to those who don't know, I've got the tweets in front of me here. So
okay,
Flood just says it's an honor to be named to the Financial Services Committee, Banking, Finance, Insurance, are key job creators across the first congressional district. And then obviously you just congratulated him and says we're looking forward to continuing our positive communication with the Financial Services Committee and shaping the future of banking. Obviously, we all
right
know
on.
that Paul and Mike have a pretty long history, dating back to their college dorm years. But yeah, like you said too, even with Julie Slama, Senator Julie Slama, she said she even gave the Telfam a shout out, right? So
Yep.
graceful
Yeah.
graceful for this opportunity to look towards the future of banking, commerce, and insurance in Nebraska. Shout out to cryptocurrency community and the Telfam. We're bringing more crypto bills in this year. So obviously,
Oh yeah.
Paul reached out to her as well and said, we're very excited at Telcoin to work with you and show the world how to do crypto the responsible way in Nebraska.
Let's jump into the Dune analytics, right? And thank you for adding these notes, Andrew. Got some numbers behind here. So Dune Analytics, based on the new stake and refer program, which some people love it, some people hate it. Um, Regardless, I like it. Have accumulated some Telcoin. I used my first accumulation as a giveaway, which was awesome. I think they picked my favorite place in the country that I was heading to on a little mini vacation. They picked right, and so they won. It was a little over 11,000 Telcoin I sent them. So I mean, not much in fiat value right now, but that goes to 50 cents, and who knows, that's a good payout, right?
Good
So
chunk of change for sure.
um yeah, but so based on the analytics, right, I'm reading them off here, piece of paper here. So it's over 1.6 billion tel has been staked, so about $4 million USD. 1,300 plus unique stakers, 1.1 million tel paid out, which is about 2,300 bucks. 600K tel buybacks, so that's about 13. That's more than half. Um, is the tel buybacks. And then it's not about how much you stake, but how many and who gets your referrals, right? So 200 million tel staked and with zero fees, 2.2 million tel staked, 174 tel fees. What's that mean, Andrew, with that last bullet point?
Yeah. So that was to just show that it's more about proof of work as opposed to like proof of stake. So those two
I
examples,
gotcha.
someone's got 200 million tel, obviously nice decent little bag there, but you know what, they haven't put in the work to get referrals or anything, and they've generated zero fees from that. So yeah, it's good
Yeah.
to get that 42% level by staking over 100 million. But it doesn't really do anything unless you put some work in and get some referrals out. Whereas
Yep.
someone else who's put in, only 2.2 million staked has so far earned 174,000 tel in what, let's call it a month, 2 months almost of that
That's pretty
being,
damn good.
active. So
So that's a good point. 174,000 tell.
yeah,
Like, holy smokes, that's a good bag for literally sitting there just
doing nothing.
pumping out
Yeah,
putting your
putting
referral
a
code
referral.
out,
Well, like I said too, it's not necessarily like even at that point, it's not necessarily how many you have. It's who is the person or who is
Yeah.
the group or who are the people that are using your referral fees, right?
Yeah, I think out of 39 referrals I have, I think there's probably one trader in there because every now and then, what I can tell is that they're playing a traditional triangle game, it seems, right? So, and they're doing a decent job, right? They'll buy low or buy a dip and then sell off to the top, um, but yeah, so I'll get a referral reward trickle in here and there. But I'm approaching 20,000, Telcoin that I've earned in that referral staking program. So I'm mad about it? Absolutely not,
Yeah.
right? So
Well, and just to
and
prove my point too, like I think I'm at like 14 referrals, and I'm probably close to you in terms of the amount of tel earned,
yep,
right? So it's not
yeah. So it's
necessarily, um,
who catches your number, right, and then uses it.
yeah.
So it's
And for me, like you said, I think I have one person who does the majority because I think I woke up one morning and there was like 10,000 tel in there, and I was like, holy shit. And then it's kind of slowly
yeah.
progressed, and I see a couple hundred tel here and there, every other day when I
Hmm.
look at it. But there was obviously one person that did a decent buy, sell, whatever, that generated 50 to 75% of my fees, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So, but no, it's
Uh,
interesting to see, and like even the one thing that I really love too is like the buybacks. So if people aren't aware, like what that is typically like those fees are charged in other assets, and then what Telcoin did, like in genuinely did was that they built it so that those fees need to be paid out in tel. So that those fees that are in USD or in DFX or whatever other asset you're swapping, they get swapped back for tel, which puts more buy pressure on the tel token, right? So
yep.
from that perspective too, like that's pretty cool to see. So
For
600,000
sure.
tel has already been bought through paying out referral fees. So like that's a pretty cool one that I want to continue to watch and see kind of how that one continues to grow. But of those buybacks, like it already generates 56% of that ratio. So like we said, there's roughly 1.1 million tel paid out, and of that 600,000 were had to be converted from other assets into tel.
Correct. Yeah, that's awesome. So I wanted to jump into Telcoin Magazine, man, because Holder Vaughn has been on fire with some of his stuff that he's been posting, and obviously, actually, you guys can't see it, but I have um, his book cover up on my TV over my shoulder. So um, he actually included my referral fee in one of his posts, and I told him I would do this for him as well. But yeah, so he's got a full blown book coming out on Amazon, getting released on February 14th. You can pre register to get that book. I think it's $7.99. I mean, it's not that bad if you're a book person. It's probably a pretty good read based on his articles. But just over the last since the last space, I mean, just so the ones he's posted was Telcoin 2023, the mobile money monster 2023, Africa is open for business, Telcoin crypto law and order, blockbuster Telcoin's hypothetical roadmap, and Telcoin law and order the travel rule. I mean, if you're not reading these articles, um, I highly encourage you to do so. I mean, it is chock full of good information. Uh, if you're frustrated with the lack of conversation from the team, he does an amazing job on research. So make sure you read his articles I can't wait to get his book and check that out as well. So
So I was
um,
looking at the book. Is it only for like that Kindle? Or is there going to be like a
I
paperback? Like I feel like I got to reach out because I would prefer the paperback because I want to like keep that and like keep it as a memento almost. But that's
Well, yeah, I only see it as a Kindle, which you don't have to necessarily own a Kindle. You can download it to any uh, device you
yeah.
have. But it's a Kindle format. I think you have to download the Kindle app to be able to use it. But we'll see. I'm wondering if he did the pre-registration to gauge demand and to see if it made sense to do some
Yeah,
print.
maybe.
You
Yeah.
know, but there's also print on demand companies. My wife just received a book that gets printed every time it gets ordered.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool setup. So maybe I can turn them on to the publisher of that book and just say, hey, this is a print on demand. People that want to pay for it.
Yeah, for me, like I'd prefer to have the printout, or the paperback.
Yeah,
But hey,
yeah,
honestly, like you said though, like it's great. It's basically a collection of all the articles that he's put out, to date. Which, like you said, the information, the content, the amount of effort that goes into what he does, it's amazing.
that's right. Yeah, and so I know you made a bullet point here. It's per Telcoin magazine, one of his articles. It said Senator Michael Jacobson introduced change provisions relating to digital asset depositories, LB 674, with notice of hearing for January 30th. Um, and then the status introduced on January 18th, 2023 is 25% progression. Can you enlighten us a little bit on that? I don't know if there was anything after that January 30th hearing that I've heard of anyway.
Yeah, honestly, that was your note, but good to pay attention, Steve.
No, yeah. I told you I was making these notes when I was drunk, so
you,
that proves it.
you did mention that. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know if Liberty knows more about this than I do, but I know we were talking kind of in our admin chat about it with like Crypto Idiot, whatever. And I think he's got a pretty good understanding of what's going on. It sounded like more information is probably going to come, I think, March, April about that. But again, I don't want to speak too much on it just because I don't
Yeah.
have as much background info on it. But we do have a legal wire transfer that has come up. So you
Love the name.
yeah, let's
Love the
go.
name.
The floor is yours.
Thanks. I was just wondering, since the telex pools and the SMS pools, they say they end on February 7th. And that's I'm pretty sure it's today. Are they starting any new pools, or is that why they updated the app? Are they adding more coins, so they'll release new pools shortly? Because they never really like ended them right on the date. They kind of like gave an update and said this is going to end, this is going to start. But I was just wondering because it says it ends on February 7th, and that's today. So I was just curious.
Yeah, those are just typically the incentive cycles. So the pools will continue in perpetuity. Like once they've been created on Balancer, QuickSwap, and DFX, like I don't even know if you can really cancel them because you'd have to void them of all of the investments and funds that are in there before you can really like deprecate them. But essentially, what it is, it's just the incentives cycles that need to be reset. So typically they do them every
Gotcha.
quarter. Recently, over the last couple months, they've been doing it every 30 or 31 days based off of how many days are in the month. So we might get an update from the team tomorrow or later today, depending on what your time zone is. I'll be looking to see tomorrow when I do my update. But yeah, like you said, as of right now, it still says February 7th, which based off of where they are located will happen, within the next 12, 24 hours, I would say, to get an update. But my thoughts are they will just continue and roll over. They're not gonna, in my opinion, just stop incentivizing those pools. If they did that, especially now, they would lose all the liquidity. And once you lose all that liquidity engine that is powering their services becomes null and void. And then essentially, Telcoin's done if they don't have those liquidity pools. So
Yeah, Yeah, see, I was hoping that since it's 7th and it said that and they updated that possibly they'd be adding new
Yeah,
pools to
I
the
think
mix
that's
with
part of
new
the
assets,
reason why everybody was
but
getting excited a little bit too.
wonderful.
But
And whoever wrote those articles about Tal recently with the Amazon book, they were really good. I read them.
yeah,
Yep.
Howler Vaughn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can follow him on Twitter and subscribe to his Substack. Awesome,
Yeah, and
awesome
speaking of
articles.
him, we're actually in talks. We may try to coordinate with Holder Vaughn and just have a separate event just to cover his content. Last time he was on, it was an amazing conversation, and just the time zone. It's pretty far apart. So for him, I think it's like 3 in the morning right now. But him and I are in talks about maybe putting on a community event where he can just drop as much knowledge as he possibly can based on his research that he's recently done. So stay tuned for that anyway.
Getting into the podcast, Steve. Let's go.
I know. I'm thinking about it, man. I'm all over this social media stuff. I don't know if you had a chance to look at that car one I did. I put on YouTube.
I was waiting for the Crocs. I didn't see the Crocs. I was a little disappointed.
I know.
You got the setup, man. You got all the
know.
setup.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna drop down, but thank you all. And isn't everyone just so happy that Bitcoin's like above 20,000 and didn't fuck around at like 19 or 20,000 for a couple months, and it's like kind of going up nice and slow, but
You
so
have no
beautiful.
idea.
Thank
You
you
have
guys.
no idea.
Golden Cross coming up here soon. What's going to happen?
Let's go. Well, the market
let's go.
sounds a little bit better. Regulations being talked about in positive light. That's all good things, I think, for the industry. So
Yeah, what I wanted to do was actually pull up where we at on. I'm gonna drag this over here on the market right now. What we're looking at. What's nice is, and I don't know, I don't want to say nice because it's either failed projects or scams going away, but then the amount of actual tokens in the market, at least according to CoinGecko, is dropping. So it's went down about 1,000 over the last 3 or 4 months since I started kind of gauging that number. So we're just over 12,000 different tokens out there. So yeah, Bitcoin. I mean, if it's going to hold 22,000, we should see another little up ramp. Andrew, I know you've been learning how to what was it, charting for dummies? The book you got?
technical analysis for dummies. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The update is I am still a dummy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fickle game, isn't it?
Well, like the thing is, like there's so many things that you can see, but there's also other patterns that can coincide with that, and then depending on what time frame you're looking at, if it's an hour chart, 4 hour candles, or the daily candles, weekly candles, like everything kind of just it's tough, man. It's not an easy thing to be accurate and I would say correct most of the time. Nobody's correct all the time, but like to have a over 50% strike rate, I got to imagine is tough.
What time are you trading on the 1 hour or 4 hour? What are you looking at?
I typically look 1 hour, 4 hour, and then sometimes 12 or the daily. Like I'll look at weekly for like really long term, but I don't really look at that too often. I would say like the daily is probably typically the biggest candle I usually follow. And speaking of, just to give a little update, like I'm seeing a little bit of a ascending kind of triangle on Telcoin, like on the monthly, kind of like since I don't know if we go back to kind of November. So it's multi-month, like we're kind of, and based off of the way that it looks to me like it could be coming close, to around the 22nd, 23rd of February. But again, if that coincides with an update or something, then we'll have to wait and see. But again, I wouldn't take anything I say on this as financial advice. Like I said, I am the dummy, so don't worry.
When he starts the conversation with my book says it's for dummies, I would not take that for financial advice.
And I refer to
I
myself as a dummy. Yeah.
I just posted an image of the chart, and I've got like a pennant going on. It's going on like 100 days, but I don't know if it's. I'm not a chart guru either, but the pennant looks like it's in it for at least 100 days, and I don't know if there could be a cup and handle for all I know, for like a giant cup and handle. I'm not sure.
I thought
Yeah,
that
I
too,
did my
like a while ago, but it didn't really play out. Because like I'm looking at it right now in Liberty, like you're seeing the exact same thing that I'm seeing, and I think if you kind of get to the end of where your red points hit, like what's the date on that? Do you still have it open? Like it's probably, you know,
Yeah.
it's in like the early 20s, probably in Feb.
Give me a.
But yeah, like I was seeing like that cup and handle, but I was hoping that like we would come up a little bit more on the last wave up when we tipped. What did we tip? 27. I was hoping that would come back up to like the 3, 3 kind of level, and then kind of come back down, touch 3 again, and then vault back up to like 44, 46. But obviously, it didn't happen. But
Yeah, guys, I'll just give you like my horror story. I mean, I learned to chart early on in my crypto career, if you want to call it that. But after trying to trade off the 15 and 30 minute charts, for a year, and basically getting about 3 hours of sleep a night, I slowly converted into a buy, hold, and play the big waves. I wasn't going to do that craziness any longer. It burnt me out pretty quickly. So
I'm showing like around the 24th, 25th of February, where this comes to an end.
yeah, so we're
But
pretty close.
don't take that advice from me. Don't.
Just a couple dummies. That's it.
not financial advice. Yeah. So
Hey, don't flood my
I
bag,
want to
Steve.
give every Yeah, don't fill my bag. I want to make sure we give everybody an opportunity to come up here. I mean, if you guys want to get engaged in the conversation, please raise your hand. If you have thoughts, complaints, just you want your voice heard. I posted a video earlier today, just asking if we could get more engagement, just to chit chat on here and get some new voices and some new opinions and new ideas up on stage. So yeah, if anybody, it doesn't matter what it's about, any topic. Doesn't even have to be Telcoin related. It could be crypto related. It could be anything. Just
Could
make
be
sure you
merch
raise your.
related. Give me some
Could be
ideas for
merch related.
merch.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, if you guys are doing the shopping at the Telcoin shop there that Liberty's running, I need to place an order, man. You're putting out a whole bunch of new stuff, and now my koozie out of date. Marlon, created a new community picture, which is amazing. It looks great.
Love it.
Yeah. He did a really good job. I hope everybody in here got a chance to put their PFP out, so we could get you included in that picture.
I did
So
see.
that
Yeah,
thing's
shout out to him, but I also feel for him because every time he does it, there are a bunch of people that come in and be like, "Oh man, I'm not in it. I'm not in it." I'm like,
I was just
dude,
gonna
he
mention that
posted
too.
this for weeks.
And yeah, that's what I was
yeah.
gonna say. I was like Marlon, I'm like, but there's gonna be people. He's like, I know, but we put it out for a week,
Yeah.
and you know what? It is what it is. If people don't want to get engaged,
Right.
then this is what happens. So
Yeah, he was nice enough to, I think, for all three of us, he included my Steve Crypto, and then he also included the Telfam Chats PFP, and then I think he did for Andrew Yu and the Telex community, and then Liberty in the store. So we took up extra space, but yeah, I really appreciated.
100
For the
He
culture.
actually For the culture, that's
for the
right. Yeah.
culture. That's right. Yeah.
He actually created this the NFT, the PFP that is now the Telfam Community Chats profile picture. He created that NFT. He actually sent me the NFT
Oh my god.
to put.
I
Yeah,
I
so
was
super
actually he
nice of
sent it to
him.
me too, and I almost took that and put that as my PFP too. And then like I think literally
Oh,
like
really?
2
Yeah.
hours later, you had updated it for the for the Telfam Chats, which I think makes more logical sense. So it's all good. Then I got Liberty
Yeah.
to
No,
make me a custom one anyway, so it's all good.
I was gonna say, yeah, your new PFP is pretty dope there too. Kind of, it's a great representation of everything that you do for the community. So if you guys take a peek at Andrew's PFP, he's kind of branded himself with all the things that he's involved with. So
Yeah, and thanks again, Liberty, because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing with any kind of creative stuff like that. I'm a numbers guy, if you guys haven't noticed.
well, you just claimed you weren't on your charting.
No,
So
that's technical
I don't
analysis,
I don't know
Steve.
what
Steve, stop it.
it's
Steve,
numbers.
stop it. I'll mute you.
All right. Oh yeah, you do have that power, don't you? I see Lovell.
Yeah.
Lovell?
Yeah, this is Lavelle.
Hey Lavelle, how you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going? So, quick question
Doing
for
well,
you.
doing well.
Is there any validity behind Telcoin being FDIC insured? Because I was seeing that photo kind of circling around Twitter, and I was like, is this legit? Is this a thing? And if not, do you think Telcoin is going that way, trying to be FDIC insured? I'll sit back and listen.
So it's a great question, and it's something that I remember reading about, especially is in LB 649. I want to say that no, the funds are not going to be FDIC insured when it comes to digital asset banks. Now, I could be full of shit. If somebody else knows better, please jump
Well,
in
I know it's got to
and,
be one for one. So from that perspective,
yeah, but it's
is
right,
it
but it's
not like
not
automatically
FDI
insured if
insured.
it's got to be one for one?
No, no, the FDIC is a separate entity, and I don't think that they're gonna insure digital assets. So I know man, it's been a while since I read through that bill. And we talked about that in some older spaces, and then I know they're not recorded for reference. But I'll tell you, Lavelle, I will.
I
For
do
them,
know that I think that caught steam because when Paul was in that picture shaking hands with the at their bank that he invested in,
yep.
it's got the bank name on the sign behind them, and then underneath it says member FDIC.
Well, yeah, sure. The original bank is I think most banks have to be
Right.
FDIC insured. So it is an actual bank that he's invested in, right? So what I remember, and I think I'm on topic, is that digital asset banks, and they actually wrote this into the law that they can't be called digital banks because the banking folks were getting pretty upset about it. So it's digital asset banks or something like
Digital
that.
Asset
And they had to keep,
Depository Bank.
yeah, and you have to keep them separate, and they will not be FDIC insured. Now, I will verify that though by the next space. So I'll even reach out to you through DM if once I pull that up. I have it in my the bill in my computer somewhere. I just have to read through it again.
You should try to get like the Big Sur on one of these times because I know he's got a pretty good understanding what's going on with all that too, and even I'm looking
Big
at
dog.
on Telegram, like Reformed Idiot or Crypto Idiot or II 2.0, whatever his name is.
Oh
He's got
yeah.
a good understanding of like the banking stuff too, and I know like through our Telecoinomics admin group, like they're very, the two of them are very informed, and I think Liberty, didn't you read like the most recent update on like the LB 6474 or whatever it was? Because wasn't that like a 30-page document, and they went through and updated some stuff? Because I know they had to have $10 million. They had to have 3 years of what is it, funding, or
Operating
that's what it was.
expenses.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm as up to speed on that either, or at least not lately. But
Yeah, but we'll find out for you though, man. I'll shoot you a message.
Which is a huge number. I mean, 10 million. Everybody's thinking that we're how do we even have any more money left? And then I think I saw an image circulating recently on Twitter that they just got new funding, but it was like they didn't have total access to it, so some of it was like blurred out. But then on top of that, 3 years of operating expenses covered before you can actually become one is, I mean, that's a significant amount of money right there.
Mhm.
Well, didn't they do like a VC round before and they secured that 10 million? Like it was like
They
that was
did.
like
Yeah, that was
almost 2
operating.
years
That
ago that they had that, and that,
Well, it was under the premise that it was operating expenses, right? So you think that, going forward, they're operating and maybe those were expenses were used. However, maybe not. Maybe they funded their operations a different way through other funding, and that's kind of stuck for just that purposes to, security, whatever. So I don't know. I don't know. But somebody sent me that picture as well, a screenshot of where it said that they just received new funding or something like that. I have to look back at it again, but
And that 3 years operating expenses, that's minimum. Like, I mean, that 10 mil is minimum that you have to
mhm.
have initially. I mean, Telcoin's operating expenses, I would imagine, are more than that in 3 years.
I would, especially the growth, right, and all the
Right.
hiring that they've done. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just look at their staff. I mean, their staff are, I mean, those are some ballers that they've got in the Telcoin team. Those
Yeah,
guys are getting hundreds of $1,000s a year, I would imagine.
yeah, you'd imagine. Yeah, I mean, looking at you basically can see their resume on their LinkedIn profiles anymore, right? And they had pulled. Look at Rajesh himself. I mean, he came from MasterCard, right? He was a high up executive at MasterCard, and I know some people have pointed out some other folks. I think somebody came from JP Morgan. And these aren't you know low level hires. These guys are executive level hires. So, and speaking of that, does anybody, and I'm asking this, anybody that's in participating in the space, this BizRa Global Solutions, right? There's ties to it. Does anybody know the differentiation, how the companies are split, and what's going to happen with it? What's going on with that?
My understanding is they had to do outs part of what they had to do was to become regulatory was they had to outsource as well. And so I think what Telcoin did is I think they created a whole new basically sister company that they could do outsourcing to directly. That's why you have the head of operations from Singapore uh, is now the CEO of this company, and they have multiple
Hmm.
people that were from Telcoin that are now, as of January 1st, now with this BizRa. But if you are on the Discord, I know that like the head of customer service or whatever for BizRa now is still doing customer service for Telcoin in the Discord chat. So it's almost like this is just a startup thing that they're doing, and they're just meeting regulation and you know checking the boxes of what they have to do. But this is a startup, so I would imagine that they're floating between still doing customer service for Telcoin and this because there's probably just starting. So it's
Sure.
well, you can even see, I think, on LinkedIn too that either Telcoin's doing some hiring for BizRa, right?
right.
And to your
Yeah.
point, Liberty, I think it's Marga or whoever in customer service at Telcoin, like you said, is now the VP of customer support at BizRa. And then, yeah, you've got the ex-Philippines country manager. I think you even mentioned this in one of our chats, Ruben. I'd have to go and look what his last name was, but yeah, it's interesting. I think there's 3 employees now in total from Telcoin that are now working at least on LinkedIn through BizRa.
And speaking of the Philippines, and I asked him that if it was okay that I brought this topic up, but a community member, Popper, is actually going to be spending a couple of weeks in the Philippines. I don't know if he's in here or not, but yeah, he'll be in the Philippines at the end of February. So he's gonna try to do some mass recon while he was over there, see kind of see what the perception, whatever he can find out, and how I don't even know. I wouldn't even know where to start going to another country and figuring out how Telcoin's going to operate in it. But it's more power to him, man. I hope he stumbles upon some good
So
information.
he's literally going to the Philippines to look into Telcoin stuff, or he's
No,
I was
not
gonna
specific. No, he's gonna be in the
okay,
Philippines, and while he's there, he's gonna look
gotcha.
into
Okay, okay.
yeah.
I was gonna say, geez, that is
Now
commitment.
that would be dedication. That would be
Jeez,
dedication.
get
That's
this
for
guy on
sure.
the
So
stage.
that's
I think I
right.
said head of Singapore earlier. I definitely did not mean to say Singapore. I meant to say Philippines.
Philippines, right?
It's
Yeah,
all good,
yeah, we
Liberty. It's all
gotcha.
good. We'll hold it against you.
I
All
did
right.
want to. I did want to mention, and yeah, I know you guys can't see it, but I'll edit it into the video that I post on YouTube. But for my 700th follower for the Telfam community chats, so I'm going to read this verbatim. It's Dixie 6564484. One the chance to get their referral code on the next video for people to use if you so choose. So congratulations to that, and it was kind of fun. I think I was 2 away from 700, so I posted a quick tweet, and I said the 700th follower, I'll share their referral code on the screen during the next spaces. So super excited for them, and hopefully they get some referrals out of it. I mean, we'll try to help the community where we can to participate in the stake and refer. So what else we got? Liberty giveaways, man. You've been posting about them. What do you got going?
Well, I gotta pull them. I don't
All
want to do
right.
it. And I don't want to do it until the end of this, so that I know that like whoever wins
And
didn't just like come in at the
they
very beginning and then bounce.
they suffered through the whole thing. You
You
mean?
gotta suffer through this.
Well, speaking
You're gonna get rewarded, or at least you're gonna be in the pool for it.
Liberty. Speaking of giveaways, we know that Marlon wanted to give away a DFX hat, and
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
he did a little bit of a lottery pull, and he sent it to me. So the
Wait, he sent you the hat already?
no, he sent me the winner. No.
Oh,
This
right.
is this is not a pay to play here. Come on.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, if it was, I'd be wearing a Telcoin hoodie from the Telcoin shop, but I digress. Right.
oh, Steve. Um, so the winner.
Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. You're throwing me off guard here.
Bear with
All
me.
right, so
I got
the winner.
both my sons coming with. Bear with me.
Liberty, Jesus. All right, the winner of the DFX hat from Marlin is Crypto Jack at Jack of Cryptos. So if you're listening, I don't see the picture in here, but if you're listening later on, reach out to Marlon, M4RL0NFCB, and work out the shipping details. So Marlon, again, thank you for the updated crypto Twitter 2.0 collage, and appreciate again you going above and beyond and helping out everybody with the giveaway too.
Yeah, right on. It's a cool hat, actually. It's trucker hat, right?
I think so. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Right on.
All right, so are we ready to do mine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, we got a couple of more points to make, but yeah, we can roll.
We can wait. I can totally wait. It's up to you.
No. Let's roll.
Okay. I got 21. So this is kind of a process.
So do you want to do it later, Liberty?
What's that?
Do you want to do it later?
What's 21
Yeah.
represent?
Let me do it later. If everybody's still here, then if I pick your number and you're still here, then boom, you got it. If not, I'm going to the next person in line.
All right, sounds good, man.
Get a queue going. How about that?
All right.
All right, Stevie, what's next?
Oh, so Iceman, he stumbled across a website, believe it or not, and it had some information regarding some currency called DTEL. Um, so small d and then TEL. So I just wanted to ask the community at large here, whoever's here, if anybody knows anything about it. Is there any weight to it? Is that something that potential link to the company?
Well, we had chatted about it in like one of our admin chats too, and I think
I thought
yeah,
so. Yeah,
because
that's
well,
yeah,
I got a little
yeah,
snippet of a couple of us going back and forth, and I think what we referenced to what it could be is like a delegated tell, where you delegate your tell to another authority for use of some
yeah.
kind, and is that MNOs, is it validators? So honestly, like really, we have no idea. Um,
So yeah, but it could be typical DAO stuff, right? And
Exactly, yeah. So,
yeah,
like, just to read a comment, like, what if we could delegate our tell to an MNO and share in fees
hmm
collected from their customer base or something along those lines? I really have no idea, just speculating how tell could be a
yeah,
utility in an ecosystem. So, like, it's interesting to see, what could come of it. But like you've got stake tell, you've got delegated tell. Like, how do those differ? How do they maybe work together? Like, I don't know, if you have stake tell and you further stake that, do you get delegated tell? Or if you stake your delegated tell, do you get more stake tell? Again, I don't know. It's, again, we
how cool it would be, or would it be, if you could pick the MNO that you put your money into and collect the fees, basically staking your Telcoin into the MNO and get a portion. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and it would
Yeah.
increase their bag, which I think based off of the Rivendell network, the more, well, I think it's more customer based in terms of the percentage they get back. But yeah, maybe it's they move to the, depending on how much staked tell you have as an MNO provider or a validator, you go into different categories or different tiers, and those different tiers have different reward percentages or something like that, similar to the stake and refer.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be man. So this is the thing that I do just on my own, just sitting here, whether I'm working from home or whatnot, just thinking about things like that and the opportunities that could present. If things go that route, right? I mean, who knows? Who knows what the future is going to bring, and what the opportunities are for long-term holders. People that accumulated over years and now has this large chunk of the asset, and then what can we do with it to benefit, going forward. So, I mean, just in of itself, the Tall X platform, right? And I know we've kind of separated from talking about that because, come to find out, now a lot of people are using it. I wouldn't have suspected that. However, that is an opportunity that the team had given the community, to take advantage of some APY and whatnot. So just to think long term, what the DAO will bring, the opportunities with the companies that they're working with. It keeps me excited and keeps me engaged long term. So
I did a quick search on detail in some of our Telegram chats, and I see something here
yeah.
from Ari. I'll just read it, and maybe we can speak to it. But
Okay.
it says the detail is just a placeholder. They're just testing out the DAO stuff right now, so they had it set to one tel on the back end guard. The front info is just what they put out for now, but they'll probably replace it with references to the NFTs. So again, probably speaking more towards kind of maybe the DAOs, and maybe like the councils that I know, like Ari's mentioned before
hmm
too, with maybe like different specific councils within the DAO to delegate and make decisions on certain aspects within the Telcoin community and the platform, the products, and all that kind of stuff. So like we said at the onset, where this it continues to get more and more complicated but like we're starting to see pieces from different aspects of it, and the more of those pieces we're starting to see, we can at least try to start putting them together and start to see the bigger picture. But the more complicated it is, like honestly, the more excited I get, because there's more pieces of different things that I wasn't really aware of, or know what they're doing. So it's exciting to see, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it goes back to we've said this multiple times, or especially when in the beginning of the space, with the frustrations that come with the lack of communication from the team or whatnot. But I always said, like, there's a few people that I keep my eye on, right? And if those few people start, showing signs or selling off or whatever that case is, that's when I'm like, okay, well, something's up, right? But these OGs, and it's past just it, typically in this game, right? You never want to admit that you're wrong about an investment, and it's past that though. There's a reason why there's a lot of smart people, way smarter than I am, hanging around and sticking in with Telcoin and as this progresses. So I keep my eye on a few people, and I know if that tide turns, it might influence me. But at this point, it's still full steam ahead. So
Yep, totally agree.
yeah. Who else we got in here? Who else wants to come up here and talk, man? Let's introduce some new folks or new conversationalists, and let me get your takes.
Should we just call some people out or what?
And you just start inviting people, just randos. Let's do it.
Let's get D Long up here. I want to hear from
Yeah,
D Long. Come on. Who else we got in here?
yeah, and I had a note here. Ari's been tweeting pretty heavily, screenshots and memes. Which he tends to like the post.
Yeah, he went on a pretty good meme
yeah.
rant a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, whatever it was. But
yeah, and I can appreciate he's him attempting to hold the team's feet to the fire. I can certainly appreciate that, especially with our conversation that we had earlier when we first started this space, right? So um, I'm sure, what he is putting out there is through frustrations or, his own way of trying to, get the community to bite and engage. Who knows? But D Long said he couldn't chat tonight, so he must be tied up.
ooh, who else?
Yeah.
I concur. Are you ready to go or what? Who else? Anybody?
Yeah, but like I said, Ari, yeah, he's I can appreciate to a certain extent, his drive to keep engagement with the team and see, I mean, he's triggered some responses, right? So more so than any one of us, but I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Tell me something great.
Oh,
There we go.
tell me something
All
great,
of the
man.
the
I have
videos with you jump around. The jump around videos.
jump around, yeah.
Oh my god.
Absolutely
I
love
had
those.
such a
Yeah,
good
it's
laugh when I
hilarious.
saw that. Oh my god. I had to watch it a couple
was
times. I didn't even notice. If you notice, like the Telcoin logo in like the top, like it actually melts
sure did.
the song too. Love it.
Yeah, now if it was slick enough to catch the bull picture that I got in the background and do that one would have been fire, right? So maybe I'll challenge him to it. So.
Oh man, love it. Well, hey, tell me something great, John Sla.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing good.
Can you
Good, how are you?
good? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
We got
Oh
you.
good.
Yeah.
I'm on a really old microphone, so hopefully this works. I'm not on a Steve gear, but
Hey, listen, in that last recording, you see the wires from my old school ear pods that I
oh,
had, and I didn't have my AirPods at the time, so I was still wired in at that time. So
Sweet,
don't feel bad, man.
sweet.
And
I
I'm
just
just
want
It's
to
all
say
good.
hi.
I'm on an iPhone, so like Steve like is going over and above. Like he's doing it a little bit too much, I think. But
Nah, it's hey, listen. So I'll be bored within 2 months. Don't worry about it. So. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just want to say hi to everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed my profile videos that I had dumped out there. I made you guys laugh, hopefully.
oh,
You
loved
absolutely did,
it.
man. Yeah, while you were connecting, Andrew was talking about, and we wanted to challenge you. So in the jump around video that you posted to me, and you had the Telcoin um, logo actually chirping along with me. I know I have a bull picture over my shoulder. I wonder, can you target that picture and see if that thing could sing as well?
I'd have to look at the picture itself, but maybe
Okay. Yeah, I'll send it to you, man. Yeah, no, I think it'd be amazing.
that'd be cool.
So, no, we appreciate you coming up, man, and saying hi. It's,
Yeah,
like I
no
said,
problem.
we're trying to get more engagement, from the community, and I know everybody's got their own thoughts and perceptions, and I want folks to share. What's your thoughts? What's in the current state of Telcoin? What do you got?
Well, I think we were at bottom about a month ago, and now it's on the rise, so it's good to see. And I mean, we're just at the very beginning, so it's just going to be up from this point forward.
Well, that's price action, but what about the project holistically? What's your perception on how things are progressing, where they are in the
Yeah,
growth mode?
I wish communication from the team would be better, but it is what it is.
Hmm. All right, yeah, no, we appreciate your opinion, man. It's good to hear from you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Should
DV, how you get what's DV
I
doing
don't
down
know.
there? He's
Get DB up here. He
he's
he was just at a football game. I thought they were gonna put him in like the water boy or something.
that's the water boy.
We got to give a shout out to Joe T. Just reading the comments, he dropped $8 on his flight to make sure that he had Wi-Fi so that he can listen in.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Did he really? That's
yeah,
awesome.
love it, appreciate it.
Oh, D Long said he was trying to coach soccer practice and listen in at the same
I want to
time.
hear him yell at the
More
kids.
power to you, man. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
You little bastards.
What else?
That's
Oh,
awesome. Yeah,
Hayma
Joe.
dropped a comment about the Custodia Bank.
Yeah, I remember him. She's pretty engaged with the law stuff, the LB 649. So I know she watches that stuff pretty closely. So what's this one about? Custodia Bank,
Let's
Federal Reserve actions on its membership.
throw out the invite and see. Got the heart. She's not coming up. Come on. Come on. All good.
You want me to call the names right now?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, I got first one. I did random number generators. Anybody but me was involved.
I swear to God, I better win something this time, man.
You did win. You did win one.
You're blocked.
I picked number one. I swear to God, I picked number one. And I only counted one of you because I know two of you were in here.
You're fucking lucky. You're fucking lucky.
Bullish Bestie.
All
won.
right. Yeah.
Billy Ho 75. You won. Dave Massey, you won, and Doug Mercer, you won.
Congrats, everybody, including myself for once. Shit, finally.
Steve. What do you need? Another pair of socks?
Yeah, I need those DFX socks.
Yeah, I don't even know what. Well, I guess I mean, if you want DFX or Telcoin, you could get I'll probably do socks or the whiskey glass or the bandana or something
I'm down
along
for
those
that
lines.
whiskey. I'm down for
Yeah, I
that
was gonna
whiskey
say those
glass.
look
I'm
pretty good. I
drinking.
saw a couple pictures of those this week. Those look nice.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, some
drinking
people
beer
were a
out
little
of.
bit nasty about it, but
What do
well,
you
I
mean? Why?
digress.
Why? What
Yeah.
happened?
No, somebody was just like, "Oh, that quality looks like shit." I'd never seen him before in the community. I'm sure he was just a Twitter shit talker, but
What do you fucking expect for free?
that's why I said. I said, "Well, it's not bad for being free,"
Mhm.
but yeah. Everybody who I just called, Bullish Bestie, Steve, Billy Ho, 75, Dave Massey, and Doug Mercer. Make sure that you send me a message DM, either on Twitter or Telegram. You can do it through Liberty Lad, or just do Telcoin Shop, or the Telcoin Shop, so it's all in one place. But yeah, send me a message on Telcoin Shop, and I'll get you guys hooked up with something.
So, Andrew, do you? Thank you, by the way, Liberty. It's amazing for you guys to take the initiative to do these giveaways in these spaces. I think giving swag out to the community is amazing, and thank you so much for doing so.
You're welcome.
I only said that because I won, but no, I'm kidding.
The more people buy, the more stuff I give away. Like I'm not profiting like jack shit right now.
Yeah.
Maybe in a little bit, well, the market's bullish, like on a big bull run or something like that. Maybe we'll get a bunch of people start buying stuff, but I don't give a shit. This is fun for me. But the more people buy of Tel, the more Tel stuff I'm going to give away. I had Doug buy a nice batch of stuff the other day, so I'm going to do my first DFX giveaway here soon. When I think hopefully Cody reaches out to me soon, so we can figure that out. But yeah,
Cody's
the more
got
you
his
buy
hands
of it,
full
the
with
more
his,
the more giveaways I'm going to do.
Yep,
but
Cody's got his handfuls with his new baby, but I'm sure he'll reach out
right,
when he can. But yeah, no,
understandably.
Yeah.
Well, I think Liberty, we talked about it too. Like we'll probably, from a DFX perspective, they'll probably do a Spaces. I think probably next week.
Yeah, I saw a post from Kevin, the CEO of DFX,
That's right.
saying that it was super close, right?
Yeah. I think the expected relaunch is going to be before the end of the week. And then in talking to the team, the plan was always to kind of get things up and running. And then a couple of days after things were, up and running, to do a Spaces and have basically an AMA with the team to just chat through the vulnerability, what are the plans, the steps moving forward. And then I think there's a couple other things that they've got in store for the rest of the month too, in terms of new updates and stuff that they're going to be ready for the team too. So lots to look forward to with the effects in February.
So I want to look up Custodio back to Hayma's post and what Custodia is, because I want to read this verbatim, the picture. Custodia Bank, here we go. Digital asset banking, custody, and payment solutions. Hey, Ma, do you you can post in a message if you want. Do you know where they operate out of, by chance? So anyway, what I want to do is read what she posted here.
It looks like Wyoming.
Wyoming, okay.
Just looking at their feed again. I'm not a geography major for the U.S., but what WY I got to assume is Wyoming.
Yeah, Wyoming. Yeah, that's what. She just posted it. So it says Custodia is surprised and disappointed by the board's actions today, said Caitlin Long, Chief Executive Officer of Custodia. The Fed advised Custodia 72 hours ago that it could either withdraw its membership application or see it denied, and the Fed denied it in record time. Custodia offered a safe, federally regulated, solvent alternative to the reckless speculators and grifters of crypto that penetrated the U.S. banking system with disastrous results for some banks. Custodia actively sought federal regulation going above and beyond all requirements that apply to traditional banks. The board's denial is unfortunate, but consistent with the concerns that Custodia has raised about the Federal Reserve's handling of its applications, an issue we will continue to litigate. So, that's a great snippet there, Heyman. Thank you so much for that. I mean, it sounds like Custodia was going about it regulation first. Uh, and yeah, so she just posted again. So it says the first application for a digital charter ties with Senator Loomis of Wyoming. Caitlin Long is the CEO. Yeah. So it sounds like it's on the same path as Telcoin and what they're trying to do with regulation. So everybody's got friends in government, but maybe we're still a bit away from that, a bit away from full blown acceptance. So,
Well, we know the government works pretty fast, right?
well, in this case, it's fast to deny, though, right?
Yes, fair enough.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. Hey, Bo Spesky come up here as speaker, huh?
That's right, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
I was just gonna say hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. You don't
Good,
want to
good.
ask me any questions about Telcoin.
Sure
Yeah.
we
Why
do.
not?
Yeah, that's
No.
I have asked you multiple times to come on this space and let us have it. Let
I
us let.
know. I think you know pretty much where I'm at with Telcoin, but I
Hmm.
was listening in and out through y'all's conversation. I tried trading backs today, and I didn't do that great. So
Hmm.
I have anxiety, and I've been messing with that this whole time. But everything I've listened to is like, it's just let me know whenever it wakes up.
So what did you think about the beginning of the space when we were talking about the lack of communication? I know that's
Yeah,
a big
complete
problem with you,
bullshit.
right?
It's
Yeah, right.
bullshit. It's
Yeah,
absolute bullshit at this point.
yeah.
It's
So
disrespectful, I feel like.
yeah. So and again, I don't want to take away anybody's, voice or whatnot, and we don't want to get in this room and think we're a bunch of moon boys, and so we welcome your conversation to come
I've
in here
been in
anytime you want.
Telcoin for a very long time, and I have been following their every move that they let us know of.
Hmm.
And the trajectory has not been great. Like nothing's been great. It's not been good.
Yeah.
I mean, and at this point, I just think that it shows something. If something doesn't turn around like right now
Well,
or soon, it's frustrating.
yeah. So I mean, when you come and listen into these spaces, I've seen you in at least listening to the spaces that we've hosted before. Are you getting any sense of um, long-term potential just from the research that the community, even though the team doesn't share, obviously, but we have all these community members doing their own due diligence and research and this, that, and the other. Does that help you in any way, or is it just
I
what you see
think
on the surface?
I think that if Telcoin um did what they aim to do,
Hmm.
could have been great. I don't even know, like, is it trade crypto smarter or is it send money like the remit? What is it like? What are they even doing now?
Yeah, it's somewhat morphed away from the original white paper, right? And
And
I
has
think
that
we.
even been addressed? It's just bad for business. I don't care how good of a product it is and how federally regulated backed it is, whatever. Like if it's a shit business and people lose faith in it, it's not gonna do great.
Yeah, no, I think that was the point we were trying to make early on in this space was that with eh, things could certainly be handled better with communication, right? And I know you're one of the leading frustrated people that I see on Twitter and
Wasn't
engage.
marketing supposed to start in quarter 1 of last year?
Well, they say, yeah, and they are posting tweets, but just
Oh, come
general
on.
mark. No, no, no. I hear you, but that's their argument, right? Is, oh, we're tweeting every day, or they're doing TikToks or whatever. So it's small, but it's a start. It's more than we had before. So I feel your pain. Me being in sales and marketing, I know that we could there could be so much more done, right? But
Basically, I just wish it would pump really quick so I can get as much as I can out of it so I can pour it into bags and I'll catch Telcoin whenever they get their shit together. Like that's
yeah,
how I feel.
I
and that's absolutely fair. That's
I
absolutely
think
fair.
I feel you too. I feel you. But I think when V3 dropped, that was the kind of the turning point for their vision. When we heard about Rivendell and then their vision on kind of capturing telecoms to do these white labels, it kind of it kind of it went from remittances, banking the unbanked, to something a lot, I feel like, a lot bigger. And yes, I feel like the deadlines for stuff are gonna now it's gonna be drawn out. Now we're gonna be dependent on a lot more regulations and a lot more laws
Hmm.
worldwide that we're gonna have to abide by. And because their vision is a lot bigger now, they have to be a lot quieter now because you know, you want to move in silence when you're making big moves. But when they did drop that V3 Rivendell and everything like that, it did go from like a I feel, at least in my opinion, it went from, okay, this is going to be a solid project, to holy shit, they're going to fucking revolutionize crypto. They're
Well, it
going to
went
put
from
crypto on the map.
yeah, it went from a crypto project to a full-fledged industry disruptor, right?
Yes, an industry
Um,
disruptor for
From
sure.
that
yeah,
perspective, it went from a
and
crypto to like a business.
Yes.
yeah.
And this isn't your, and they're not going to operate. I don't, and honestly, Paul, as far as I know, Paul might not give a shit like what we think on Twitter, because he's like, I'm running a fucking business. I'm going to make sure that this thing takes off. And they're 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 passing law. They're involved with legislation. I mean, you
Hmm.
can see this the new, and thank God for this new sitting senator that came out and just like, Telfam, I got you, because that was just like, okay, Scott just was in her ear, she knows what's up. She's gonna get this. She's gonna be 100% behind this. And now he even moved up to a federal position where he's overseeing an even higher power to create legislation. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
but
man, we're
Liberty
making
to
moves though. We're making moves though. Like, if you just had the patience, I think that that your bag that you were hoping for before even is even much bigger now, if, as long as you could just hold out. But
yeah, but Liberty
I feel you. Frustrating.
to Hema's point, Custodia had friends in high places as well, right? And their license or request had just got denied. So I think that was the point she was trying to make, is that some other companies are operating, you know, in transparency and trying to take the right approach, regulation wise, and then they got kicked in the nuts at the very end, So so we just gotta stay positive and hopefully, maybe there's different avenues to take there, obviously, but let me see, illegal wire transfer. You hop back up. What do you got?
I just wanted to say, yeah, I'm totally in the I want it to pump too now club.
Hmm.
But yeah, since they released V3, the app, like that took forever. But that's like it's actually awesome. Like there's a lot of different coins on there. I didn't expect that. It's got a nice interface. It works smoothly. I haven't put fiat on and off, so I don't know how long it takes to go from your bank account back and forth.
3 to 5 days. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
that's what it usually is. But
Hmm.
like the V3 app, we waited like a year and a half for that. They didn't give updates and stuff and just said it was coming, and it kind of sucked. But eventually, when they put it out, it's like it's nice. They have tons of coins in there. It's set up beautifully. It's all on Matic, so there's no fees.
Hmm.
Like there's fees, but it's nothing compared to Ethereum. And so like yeah, it's nice to see they're actually getting shit done and like moving forward. And it does suck they don't update us, especially like I'd like update about the pools. and all that. And like hopefully they add new ones and add new coins. Maybe that's what this update was about. But yeah, I mean I hear you. I wish they would update us more often too, but it's not like the V3 app is really nice. I got to give it to them because I didn't expect it to be
No,
anything like that.
yeah, I agree. The interface is nice. They keep adding tokens. So for me, I only have 4 or 5 horses that I, buy and hold or trade or whatever. I don't hold or dabble in 30 coins, and they're all on Polygon. So that app, from a trading aspect, it could work for me, right? When there's more volatility in the market, I'll probably be able to use the Telcoin apps exclusively if I want. Um, but to the bullish bestie's point, I mean, it is painfully slow, right? I mean, it's just with no community updates, I think is the point here that we're all here to support them in whatever facet that we can, whether that's doing these, trying to educate community members, maybe even new community members, the Telex community website, the store, getting swag out there. Um, we're all trying our best, but we've all taken our own initiatives to do this. If we could get some sort of update, man, I know, and they don't owe us anything, so it's hard for me to sometimes rationalize because on one hand, I'm like, nah, they don't owe me anything, but on the other hand, I was like, man, I could really use some information from the team, so just to keep that consistent positivity, I guess, at the level where I feel good about staying, supportive of the project. So, um,
Yeah, they need to
And
hire like
and
a
to
marketing team because like all these dumb ads I see on YouTube, Reddit, wherever else, Twitter, like they could be Telcoin ads and they could make them really good because it's a good product. So
so yeah,
but I was gonna just to go add on to that, like I personally I'm and I feel like that, and this is just my opinion, that they're not at all worried about marketing right now because once the Rivendell's in full effect and once the white labels are put into place, they're going to have instant access to millions of people, through their telecoms. Like even if they have just like one or two, I mean, they're going to have instant access. As long as those telecoms are using the white labels, they could do an update on their phone. Like people will do an update on your phone, like a software update, like you would do on your iPhone. And boom, Telcoin app is on there, labeled as something completely just looks like something that would your iPhone would just have available to you.
And
yeah,
that's
And now you could do everything that you want that Telcoin offers
that's probably part of the reason why they
instantly.
don't really care about marketing, because they've got those
Right.
partnerships with
Once
those 22 MNOs that once they have the product that is ready to go, it's
they're
they
gonna
don't need to market. They're going to rely on their other partners to
yeah,
market for them. And then
yeah.
even
But
through this
Andrew,
stake and refer, you're going to have other people market for them. So you're at a point where like I don't
so they could spend a bunch of money on marketing right now, or just wait until the product's ready to go, and then they don't have to spend any of that money, and the telecoms will do it for them.
yeah, that's a fair point, but also remember this is a grassroots crypto project that really started with a small handful of followers, right? And
Yeah, but it's
to
morphed
kind
into
of
something so
say,
much
well,
bigger. Like we just talked about it going from a crypto to a business, right?
yeah, but you can't disregard the folks that have supported you from the ground up, I
No, no,
guess is
no,
my
and
point,
that's a very
right?
valid point. You
Is
got to take care of your
yeah,
early adopters for sure. But like
correct,
everything
right?
has changed from their perspective of going from a crypto community to a full out banking business, which is two
Like,
totally
Companies and
different things.
corporations.
is it worth spending hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, $1 million on advertising right now, when if they did do it now and just waited a little bit, they would still meet their target audience plus that. and not have to spend all that money and use that money now when they need it while they're, in the startup phase and everything like that.
Yeah.
Can I ask something? If that was the case, if there was no need for them to have marketing right now because they have all these grand plans, then why did they have a plan for marketing? Because they did, and it was supposed to roll out. And I mean,
From that perspective,
I
like,
thought that it was going to be a little more of an intense marketing effort. I would think normally in business, if you plan to start marketing, then you plan to consistently market and maybe market more. Like they don't have to divulge every single thing that they're working on and all of their top secrets. Um, but they could still tell us something. If your
If
marketing
I'm
plan changed or if you decide to go a different route, you could say that without saying everything that, like telling everybody's or all the business.
But if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that ad that they have at the bus stop in LA, it was a targeted ad. So it was like they were trying to see what kind of success that ad came from. It wasn't like a wide. They took that ad as an experiment to see. I don't know if they had a QR code on there or something like that. If you scanned it and they can get numbers on who actually did that. I think it was more of experimental rather than like a grand plan of a marketing campaign. I think it was more of like a okay, we're gonna put a bus ad here and see how it does, and then go from there, because that's what you want to do when you're doing marketing. You want to you want to do something and then see how that works, and then go off of that.
Yeah, there's A/B testing in marketing, right? I get that. But it's a digital currency company. You'd think that a billboard on a bus stop is just not the it doesn't fit the vibe of a groundbreaking technology based company. I guess that's my take from it. I mean, I get that you have to try different things, and it was targeted location wise, but I don't know.
but that
I
that could have been like, SMS, like remittance specific too, which again I
hmm
think we've alluded to has been a little bit of shift in focus, right? Where the remittance was always kind of the forefront of what Telcoin was, to allow the ability for people to unbank themselves through,
yeah.
telecoms, and not having the ability to have, internet access, doing it through SMS, which obviously makes sense
Yeah,
through
and
the send money smarter, obviously
yeah, and we got to remember that not everybody that's going to participate or use Telcoin in the future is full blown crypto degens like us. And we said this before. I mean,
Yep.
we've fiddle fucked our way through this entire crypto ecosystem, just trying to figure out how we can get in early and make money and do this, that, and the other. But there was no instruction book on how we do this, right? We leaned on peers. We've forged our own paths, and we're still doing that now. Um, but so that everybody that's going to be using the product aren't going to be us, right? It's not going to be guys or girls like us that are embracing this wildly new technology. So we got to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, for sure. I see Telcoin USA has had his hand up for a while, so we'll cede the floor.
All right, sorry guys. I just want to just say one thing. With Telcoin, they kind of been infamous to just kind of working behind everything and not really communicating, which on an end for people is horrible. But then they just come out with a major upgrade because they're all about less hype, more work, which I respect. But the best form of marketing, in my opinion, is word of mouth because there's no cost to it. So you think they would keep us more in the loop on what they have going on. So we, as free marketing to them through crypto Twitter and other platforms, can stay more positive, stay more up to date, and then, push that information, get people, involved with Telcoin and interested in it, and, keep kind of that hype going. Even with them not doing the marketing, we would be essentially doing it for them.
Right, that's a great point, right? Word of mouth. I mean, is bullish bestie going to be running around touting, Telcoin and saying how great of a project it is, and
Absolutely
people.
not.
Well, that's my point, right? I mean, so uh, early adopters need to be uh, re- respected in some ways, right? And know that we've stuck by and helped facilitate getting to even this point. Now we're not on a business side. I'm not saying that by any means. None of us have our hands in the proverbial cookie jar on what their plan is and their path forward. However, from a word of mouth marketing aspects, all of our posts, DBs, constant positive posts on Twitter. I mean, this all has to mean something, right? This all has to uh, be, um, given some kudos for. I mean, we've taken we've taken the initiative to do it on our own. And maybe it's maybe we're the fools for asking for any kind of feedback from that. Nobody's asked us to do this, right? So who knows? I mean, it's thankless giving, I guess, is the what I'm saying. We give to help this project move forward, but it's just does that give us the opportunity to ask for something in return? Maybe not. Maybe not. So
I'm sorry, but I just feel like it does. They aim to be a company that's for the people, to serve people, to be a public based company to help people. Then why are they not looking out for us to some extent? And I'm not even asking a lot from them. I mean, and back to the marketing thing, whatever their intent was whenever they rolled it out, whatever the community update was that they released before the marketing was supposed to start in that first quarter, what was it, last year? I can't remember verbatim, and I'm not going to go look for the article, but I'm pretty sure that the language in that made it sound like it was going to be a lot more of a marketing effort. So their plans to just not have anything for marketing or nothing that's substantial anyways, like that just doesn't make sense if they were already going to do it. And like I said, if they changed that route for whatever reason, they could have let us know something. They could be letting us know anything at this point.
Yeah, I think we've gone over the fact that communication could definitely be a lot better. But like I think we've
But it hasn't.
gone over it too. No, it definitely hasn't got better. And we know that, Paul came into Discord and he said that, he was going to jump in and be more vocal, and that didn't happen. And I think Parker's mentioned that communication obviously was lacking and it needs to be better, and we are going to be better, and it hasn't gotten better. Again, we don't know, why it hasn't gotten better. We don't know what's going on behind those closed doors, but for me, does it change my outlook on what I think the team is going to do? No. Again, maybe I'm a little bit more privileged and I have, the ability to communicate with, Parker and Josh and Will and JT and some of those guys on a little bit more frequent basis than, most people. But, my heart and my brain is still with them, right? I still think that they've got the best interest in heart, and yeah, is their communication bad? Yeah, could it be better? 100%. But long term, do I still think that they're going to accomplish what they set out to? I have a pretty good inclination that they will. Could I be wrong? 100% for sure. But
yeah. Could we all be wrong? Yeah, we can all be wrong, right? I mean, it's for both sides. And I'm not saying that there's two sides here. Right? Like I don't want to create any division. That there's people that are like, well, we don't need that and we're fine, and then there's people that are like, I need that, we're not fine, right? So that's not the case, and that's exactly why I've constantly tried to ask for people to come up on mic and give us their feedback and engage in conversation, because I think this back and forth, I mean, is instrumental in just how the community is feeling and what we do to address that.
100%. It's good. You gotta have the good with the bad, and you've got to be able
Absolutely.
to
And
you gotta be able to listen to different perspectives.
and these spaces were never created to be moon boy, fanboy bullshit chats that like
Yeah.
rah 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 rah. I mean, this is exactly what I was hoping for, was just engagement. I mean, obviously, if things were going really really well, the price was soaring. The conversation is a little different, but we got to focus on today and where we're at, right? A month from now, when we have the next spaces, could be totally different, right? Who knows? So. But no, I highly encourage. I mean, I hope once I post this out on Twitter and I'll put it up on YouTube, and people listen to this, and this is exactly what I want. Going forward is this type of communication, and I think it's only good. Only good will come out of it. So.
I concur is back up. I see.
All right on. Hey, I concur. How you doing, man?
Hey guys, great. As you guys run, this is awesome. Your platform here and all. You said earlier they don't owe anybody anything, any explanation, but they need liquidity providers. Or I guess my question is, do they really need liquidity providers? Because Ari had alluded before that they're backdooring to market makers if they fall short, or they can do it as they see fit. So do they really need liquidity providers? I mean, if they truly need them, then they do owe. If they don't really need them, then I guess they don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah, and that's
how are they acting right now?
They're acting like they don't need us.
And is that a bad thing for us?
Well, liquidity's how it's user owned. Isn't that their catchphrase?
Right. No, yes. No, that's right. But what I'm saying is, like, I see, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, but I'm seeing it as, okay, they're in it for the long run. And right now, they're in the grand scale of things, there's very few of us compared to, I think, what there will be. So I mean,
but where's our spot on the bus, Liberty? You know what I mean? Like, are we, are we those early adopters and get,
Well, I don't think they would put so much work into Telex, air quotes, their liquidity engine, if it wasn't going to be a big part of their future.
Yeah.
Like, they're incentivizing it now so that in the future, when there's enough volume flowing through that engine, enough gas flowing through that engine, that they don't need to incentivize it any further, and everybody will benefit from the amount of swap volume and those fees that are generated from that. I think part of, I concur what you're getting at is like the fact that we just saw 4 new assets be added to the Tel app that don't specifically have, liquidity pools, and they're being traded through 1inch or Paraswap or whatever, some level of aggregator, that, Telcoin participants within those liquidity pools are not benefiting from.
right.
And again, that is, it's a fair and just criticism. When I was looking at it and I saw that the 4 new assets were added, immediately in my head, because we've had conversations with Parker stating that, we will never have more than 15 assets per generalized incentive group. And at the current moment, we have 11. They added 4. Like, my head just went like, okay, so we have 4 new assets for this, initial version of, the GI pools. Boom. It classifies it out. It's all done. We've got 15 assets. Okay. Boom. Then we can move on to the next one. And then maybe the next update is another 10 assets that they add as part of a V2, GI pools. But we didn't see that. Right. So that was a little, honestly, concerning to me too. And again, it's a fair and just criticism. And there was always talk, before Telex really took off, was that in order to have an asset added, it needed to have a minimum of $5 million in liquidity before it could be added. Right.
Yep.
And we've also seen that is, that has since changed, right? So again, there's an evolutionary process to this. Obviously, we're all not privy to what's going on behind those closed door meetings, but there's been a shift. There's been a transition, an evolution in what they initially thought to what they needed to where they are now and where they can't go, right? So again, for me, I was hoping that every single asset that would be a part of Telex and be traded, or at least be available to trade on the Tel app, would be part of Telex in some way or another, in an 80-20 pool, part of these GI pools or not. But we're starting to see that, if they need to scale up to 200 assets, maybe they're starting to see that's not as, it's not possible to scale at that level based off of what they're currently doing, because they obviously can't incentivize on an individual product basis or an individual pool basis for the long term, which is why I thought it was, very smart that they came out with these generalized incentive groupings of pools, and then you would just have different groups. But
Hey, a little off topic. I see the Driven hopped in. Congrats on your son's birth, man.
yes,
Glad to see you in here.
love the name too, Atlas.
Yeah, Atlas is a great name. So where do we go from here, guys?
Yeah, any other?
Back. Go to backs.
Go to backs. What's back showing you that you like?
It's appreciated.
Let's start with community engagement, and then
Okay.
we'll go to the regulations. And it looks like they're following their roadmap thus far, so that's a win.
Okay, that's fair arguments.
That's very fair. Yep.
Yeah.
I think the whole crypto world is waiting on regulation to see who's going to do what. But yeah, the narrative that they don't have enough time, they're too busy, they got their heads down. Yeah, that's just not cutting it anymore. They need to at least show their face, and if they want people to engage in these liquidity pools, especially after I think they took a black eye with DFX, being there closely associated with, and they went to bat for them, and that I'm sure that hasn't helped anybody. But yeah, the narrative they're flying under it's. I don't think anybody. They're starting to say they're pissing on my back and then telling me it's raining. It's not flying anymore. People are starting to not only lose faith but trust.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anybody in here saying that communication needs to improve, right? I don't know. I don't think there's anybody
No,
here that's gotten on
I don't
mic
think
that said,
nobody's defending them on that. Nobody's defending them on that. I'm just saying that it's gone beyond. Well, I believe, and I'll throw you under the bus, Steve. Here, I believe you posted one time. You said if people don't understand what it's like to build a project like this, they've never built anything. Okay, I mean,
I posted that twice now, right?
yeah,
I
I'm
stand
like,
by
okay,
that,
I get
right?
that,
I mean,
but
yeah, and no, that's only from the technical side. That's not on the communication side, right? So
okay, yeah.
the speed that things get built, especially when you're dealing with, and I can't even. I'm only assuming, and this is based on regulatory and the banking and all this stuff that they got their hands in these cookie jars, and then it's international, right? How many countries are they courting or talking to or engaged with? That's what I'm saying. Like trying to force feed that through on a timeline that you're not in control of. You have world governments in control of what you can and can't do. I mean, it's kind of unfair to put the fact that building this is taking more time than people that don't build understand that it takes. That's all I was saying.
No, yeah, and I get it.
Yeah.
I think what what she was saying is true. I don't even know. I mean, what are they building? And I agree 100% that trying to become regulatory compliant in 40 different countries is a pretty tall task. I don't know if they can
That's
even
right.
do it. I don't
Yeah.
even know if they can do it, but
Well, yeah, Western Union did it, right? I mean, so the brick and mortar places that they're trying to, go after. I mean, they have, you know, uh, ability to operate in all these countries that they're targeting as well. So it can be done. It's just a different path, and the regulatory framework isn't built out or set yet. So that's probably the challenge.
yeah, and I think they are sitting back. They are buying their time, waiting to see what kind of regulation comes down because they don't want to get too far ahead because it could hurt them, and they could actually be shut down at some point. Um, I, Somebody said something earlier about a company. This isn't indicative of a growing global company, and that's how I see this referral program. I mean, I got the Upside app. If anybody wants to sign up and buy gasoline, I can refer them. I mean, that's that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
I would expect that out of Telcoin. I'm not impressed by that. Actually, it's uh, I think it's really cheesy. I think it looks bad.
Uh, yeah,
We,
I know.
there,
There's two camps there, right? I mean, there's some people that fully embrace it and understand that that's the next level word of mouth marketing, right? I mean, if you're engaged and you have the app and you want to share your referral code, that means you're going to share it with people that you're talking to. So we talked about word of mouth marketing earlier, and that is a good form of it. But then there's other folks like just what you said. I mean, they find it cheesy, and it's like, spend your efforts elsewhere for marketing. So I get it. There's two camps there for sure.
Is it possible that they're using that as a launch pad for something else for when regulation clears the way?
Speculation
well,
until otherwise said.
here's an aspect that we were talking about with some other people before. This whole referral program. If you had, if they had some big hitters involved with that, you can get some big institutions grouped together to get you to use the same the same referral code, and they're all grouped up and they share a wallet or something like that. They have to do some legality work to do that. There could be some real benefits to that, and that would just further the marketing as well. I mean,
Yeah.
people could make a whole bunch of, institution wise or like a bunch of companies say, okay, yeah, use this referral code to stake or whatever. Like, if they
Yeah.
have a good reach, they can make a good amount of money, and if they have a a good amount of headway in the market and reach, that could be some good marketing material for them too.
Yeah, and real quick, and I want to get Hema up here. I saw she came up as a speaker, but uh, you know what? Let's get you up now. Come on up. What do you got?
Me. Hi guys. How are we all
Hi, how you
feeling
doing?
Hey,
Yeah.
this is probably the most fun one to listen to.
It's the
Uh,
most engaging, and I absolutely love it. So
I
thank you
know.
for
But
copping up. Yeah.
you guys didn't take your normal over under at the beginning, so
I was just
It's a
gonna
good
tell
thing. Steve
Andrew.
would owe
Yeah.
me something.
Wait, I always. Oh, you do take the over. Yeah. No.
I
Anyway,
always
go
go
ahead.
with the over, man. Come on.
That's right. Go.
well, two things. Any questions you had about Custodia? I mean, I dig on it. I don't dig. I dig pretty deep. I guess I'm not gonna lie, but I wanted to piggyback what Bullish Bestie was probably referring to was that Community Update 6. Remember, we waited so long for that. That was in November of 21, because we were initially told that V3 would be out once we fill the liquidity pools in
Yep.
July.
Yeah. There's that $5 million mark we had to hit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that happened, and then nothing happened. So then it kind of dropped. And then in November, I think was our last peak to like 3 or something. But I think what she was referring to was from January 2022 forward. V3.2, we expect to have a version of the product that will be primed and ready for greatly increased marketing and deeper global scalability. We have put our pre-Series A fundraiser to work in preparation for rapid expansion. So that's, 13 months ago. And it's like, okay, guys, give us some breadcrumbs, because if every other place is doing it or team is doing it, and even one like Custodia that's applied for the same thing 2 years before you did, or almost 2 years, year and a half, I guess, then why can't you guys give us something besides some NDA BS? There's something they could give us, because without us doing the LPs, allegedly, they couldn't move forward.
Yeah.
So I think that's what she was trying to tap in on.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know what to say about it, right? I mean, I'll open the floor for anybody to, rebut what Hema is saying. I mean, it's a pure frustration, right? It's they make these claims that this is what's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen, I guess, or maybe it's happening and it's not happening at the speed that in which we expect it to happen, which what I was mentioning that I concur, right? Is this is maybe it takes longer than whatever the hell we expect it to take. I don't know. I don't know. So um
I think there's a good argument in the whole are we funding this to the liquidity pools, but like we just found out the other day supposedly that they just got a new round of funding that we just discovered a couple days ago. We don't know what kind of funding they're getting that's not public. I mean, they could very well be getting, they could be, and I would imagine the headhunters that they have in their staff that they're good on money right now. So I mean, I don't think we have any idea money that they've gotten, but I think they've got money.
And I
They've
think
got
that's the
plenty of
problem
money.
is you have one side of the team or Telfam that's, one way, one side that's kind of starting to question things, and we're all speculating, all of us in
yeah, it's all
totality.
speculation.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so that, but I think if we step back and look at the big picture, yeah, they're missing in a tech world, tech industry. This is slow. This is snail's pace. We can't ignore that.
Hold on, I'm gonna. Yeah, and to your point, I mean, it's a snail's pace that one's perception is one's reality, right? I mean, so if you're anticipating the fact that this stuff can be built out in a matter of months and things should kick off in a matter of weeks or whatever that perception is, and it's not fulfilled, and then you just have silence to deal with, on the back end of it. It's really hard to in your mind process the fact that you're not things aren't happening the way you thought they were, right? And
Right.
that just gives you a sense of uneasiness going forward, especially like I said earlier. I mean, we're all in a highly volatile and let me oops, sorry. I'm gonna mute I concur. I'm getting some feedback on your mic, man. But we're all in a highly volatile arena, and that volatility or lack of communication, I mean, that all kind of starts chewing on you, and you're like, well, shit, is my money safe here? Am I in the right project? There's 12,000 other projects maybe I can dive into, like Bullish Bestie bringing up backs, right? I mean, if she found something that she likes in that project and it's hitting her timelines, hey, more power to her. I don't blame her. I'm just saying it is discouraging that like these early adopters, and we're trying to help in any way we can to facilitate the advancement of the project and whatever we can do in our small group. I mean, but it's just it's frustrating. So
It is. And I think, again, when you look back at that, I think it was Community Update 6 in November of 21. And
yeah.
that, oh, rubber's going to meet the road. We were
Hmm.
ready for that rubber. So,
No, and again, back to what Andrew was saying about Paul hopping into the Telegram or Discord. I can't remember which one it was, and he was
Discord. Yep.
engaging. Yeah, Discord, and he was engaging. He said, "Hey, I'm going to do this more regularly, and I I want to address the community, and I'm gonna, and it just, it falls flat, right? Again, so
Yeah, I think people are just frustrated with walk the walk, talk the talk kind of thing, and what we're seeing more now is talk as opposed to walking. But
and let me add, I mean, we are in a bear market still, right? I mean, things are looking a little more positive than they have been in the past months, but a bear market, this is exactly what happened in the last bear market, right? I mean, we all hit absolute what we thought personally was fucking rock bottom, right? It was like, oh, this is trash. I lost all my money, um, and and then May 2021 rolls around, and we're all sitting on top of our own personal mountains, right? And now here we are. We're starting just that grind and beginning steps of hopefully what is a turnaround, and it could change tomorrow. Who knows, right?
Right.
Some news story can come out and just tank the entire fucking thing. So, um,
Right. And I agree with that. But like for me, I think it's also a matter of principle. If you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. If you
I got you. Yeah, it's
21, then
fair.
get it done.
No, it's fair. It's fair. So it is fair.
All right, guys, I got to go, but thank you for letting me up.
Yeah, hey man, thank you for jumping on. We always appreciate it. So, and thank you for sharing all the information you had on Custodia and whatnot. So.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right, guys, we're at 2 hours and 20 minutes. So it's I'm gonna try to start winding it down here. If anybody's got some last minute um, discussion points or topics you want to bring up, floor is yours. Raise your hand and come up. Um, and for the winners, there's the 5 winners that Liberty announced earlier. Make sure you DM them so you can get some swag going. So
yeah, don't forget to DM him, Steve.
I know, I trust me, I'll be the first one to hit that up. So finally, fucking won something.
I
Yeah,
have a
but
Telcoin eraser for you.
Yeah.
I did see a tweet from Ari not too long ago. It was talking about Rivendell. I'll just read it now. It was about 50 minutes ago. It says, well, inching closer, it appears, with not Rivendell. But I am probably sticking with the feeling that it will be summer before you see Alpha. Looks like still working on things like consensus mechanisms. So if summer is Alpha, MNOs is probably even further out.
All right. So we go into 2024. What it sounds
Essentially.
like. Yeah.
But
And
again, Ari, like I got to admit, Ari's good at what he does, but obviously, like he's not in tune to everything that's going on too. And like I don't know how GitHub works, but like, can they not work on code and then publish it later?
I'm not sure. Like I started to take a coding class, and I quickly was reminded how ignorant I am to that world. So it's, I'm trying to understand GitHub much more, but not quite there yet. So I'm not sure. It looks like Bullish Festival. Let's come back up. Not sure what that is, and I know Ari explained earlier on that he had tracking bots and keywords that would be tracked, and accounts and wallets and everything else. So he's got a bunch of bots out there doing the work for him, bringing all that information in. But God, I wish I knew what level he was operating on half the time. So
I concur, pun intended.
yeah. You there? I concur. Oh, he muted out.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to say I do appreciate all the hard work you guys have put into this community, and if nothing else, it's fun. Might not make any money, but at least everybody's having a good time.
I made a lot of
Well,
friends through this. This is a good time.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I really do. I do consider a lot of you guys my friends. I mean, it's I spend a lot of time preparing for this and talking to you guys through DMs and on Twitter and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, I think regardless of the frustrations, I still think it's one of the best communities. And again, my DMs are always open if you want to chat. So, Bullish Bestie, hop back up. What you got?
Never mind. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Come on, let it out,
yeah. Just let it out.
Well, it wouldn't be funny anymore. So.
Yeah. Okay. So
Are you making
poorly
fun of
timed
Steve?
joke.
If you're making fun of Steve, let it out.
Hey, listen. That's fine. Go ahead. Let's hear it. All right, guys. Listen, I'm gonna cut this one.
Hold on,
I can't
Steve.
say
We had
what.
a legal wire transfer come back up as well.
Oh, all right, right on.
I just came up to say, yeah, the Tel community.
Still love
I've
the
been
name.
I've been around for like, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years,
Yeah.
and it really is like one of the most normal, like just
Illegal
people.
wire transfer. You unmuted. You
Can you
good?
hear me now?
I can hear.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you
All
fine.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is a group of just like normal people
Uh-oh.
that aren't all like moon boys and crazy or like young idiot kids or NFT insanity people. It's like a very level-headed, cool, calm, collected group of people, which I also really like about Telcoin. Everyone that's involved in it is like, I don't know, not a responsible, respectful adult as compared to the crypto space, which is like moon boys, idiots, 1000x. It gets crazy. So yeah, thank all you guys for that.
Yeah, I don't know, Steve, if you heard, but yeah, I would agree. Community's again a huge part of it, and again, a lot of the reason why we do what we do is because of the people that are not only in this space, but everybody that we talk to and engage with through DMs, through Telegram, through Twitter, through whatever, right? Whatever medium it is. But yeah, it's a
I
great
only
community.
heard the very end of that, and he was talking about Moon Boys and 1000Xers, and I figured he was talking about you, so I didn't want to jump in.
He was definitely talking about you, if anything. But...
Right on.
Cool. Well, yeah. We got anything else?
Man, this was a good one, man. I know it
2.5
took a turn there at the end, right? I mean,
Hey,
but absolutely.
Steve, I got one question before we finish off.
Sure, yeah.
Did you hit record?
I did hit record. I can see it in the upper corner. Yeah, it's recording. I don't know how my fancy fucking tech that I wasted a bunch of money on is gonna do, but we'll see if it ends up on YouTube. But anyway, yeah, it's a great conversation, guys. I mean, I'm absolutely enthralled. This is what I've been hoping for. It's been a long time coming, and I encourage you guys to hop up here and voice your frustrations and let's talk through it. And I'm not saying we're going to solve or change your mind, but I mean, it's always good to be able to, in my case, I'll just give you my example. Like my wife gives zero shits about what I do in the crypto space and what Telcoin is and all that stuff. So, internally at my household, I don't have a whole lot of folks to talk to, right? I can talk to the cat, and it's probably she cares about it as much as my wife does. So, so but you guys seriously, like, I consider you guys friends, and this community is amazing, regardless if the frustrations are there or not. And I always look forward to these and talking to you guys. So
I feel you, dude. I don't know a single person in real life that's even in crypto.
that's right. I mean, and that may be part of our own frustrations, our family members, or co-workers, or none of them give a shit, right? They don't. They're like, oh, they roll their eyes like, there's Steve talking about fucking crypto again, right? And so I've learned over the past 5 years just to look for those body signals. When I see an eye roll, I'm just going to shut down, right? So it's
the only people that I know in real life that know anything about crypto is the people that I've got into crypto. or
Yeah,
Telcoin
yeah,
specifically.
right on, right. And then
Yeah,
you got to
I
deal with.
got people into Telcoin at like 4 and 5 cents, so they hate crypto
Love
now.
you, just love you.
So
That is a short Christmas card list right there, my friend.
yeah,
I lost friends to Telcoin, friends and
Yeah,
family.
yeah,
yeah.
that's unfortunate. Yeah,
Hey,
it's
use my referral code.
don't fuck
I'm
my
good. I'm
bags.
good.
Yeah. So, hey, anyway, let's wrap this one down. And again, fantastic conversation. We'll do this in a month. I think my like every 2 weeks, it was a lot. So my excitement for this one was immense. I am glad that that 1 month time frame seems to work for me. My excitement was high to get involved and get into this one. So I love the conversation. If you guys have any questions that come out of this, like I said, I'm always open to talk. Andrew with Telex, if you're involved with the pools, I'm sure he's out there to help you. And then Liberty, he's running a Telcoin shop. If you want some sweet merch, make sure you hit him up. So,
Or any
any
ideas for new merch, let me know.
yeah, right on. I know the new community picture with all the PFPs is coming out. I'm sure Liberty will have that on some merchandise on the site fairly soon.
Yep.
Is it okay?
Yep, this week.
This week, all right, right on. So any last minute questions, comments before we shut this one down?
I'd say just a shout out to everybody who stayed in for like 2.5 hours listening to us idiots talk about
Yeah.
cryptocurrencies. I see a lot of the same faces that are still in
Yeah.
here. So thanks to
Yeah.
every one of you guys, man. You're part of the reason why we do this. So
Yeah, we absolutely love to have each and every one of you in here. So hopefully we'll get a lot of listens after this one to get the European family engaged. We will have a particular space set aside for them. Andrew and I have been talking about that for the last few weeks, but and maybe we can do that. And now that we're only doing this once a month, maybe we can fill in that gap and then do a European space for the folks over there across the pond. So um, until then, guys, thank you so much, and we'll speak soon.